In this breakdown video, I'll be reviewing the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Series 2 Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder. I'll be taking a deep dive into the packaging, the paint, the design, and answering your biggest questions at the end of this video. Is this worth your money? So please join me, Rook, from Rook Geek Goodness, in this breakdown video to discuss Series 2's Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder for the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron. Alright YouTube, let's get into our breakdown segment. And if you enjoy this content, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. One little comment from you, or like, or subscribe, can help this get across YouTube platform for people looking for this content can find it. And the very first thing we do in a breakdown segment, we look at the packaging and presentation. Of course, we're in Series 2 now, and it's very similar to Series 1 packaging. This is a smaller sort of class ship. This is the Starfighter class. Of course, this is of course Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder, and it looks really good. I like the attention to detail. The packaging looks really good. Let's break this down right now. Star Wars logo up there. Great window box, nice little bubble. You can see the ship on the inside. So if this was sitting on a peg, you know exactly what you're looking at. Of course, it is the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron listed right there. It does say at the bottom here, it might be hard because it's in chrome with black text. It does say Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder, and there are two figures that are included in this particular packaging. I got this at Target. Price point ranges, I've seen it going from $12 up to $15. I was on more of the high-end spectrum. This was $15 with tax, so it came out to about $16 and change. Just so you know that, to get everything on the table before I go further in a breakdown segment. Let's look on this side of the packaging. Very, very standard design Star Wars logo. Over here we have some nice artwork of a Snowspeeder. The back of the packaging, unfortunately, I talked about on a toy hunt, is a little beat up. They give you sort of the action features what this vehicle does have. It has the air brake system, which is a little lever that's controlled in the back, which is kind of linked to the engine block. It kind of camouflaged to look like the engine block itself, and I'll showcase that when we get them off the card. And more importantly, we have the really cool tow cable, which comes off the ship. It's about maybe 3 to 4 inches, and you kind of roll dial it back in. Again, it looks really neat. I'll talk more about that when we get them off card. And of course, the last bit here, you can't really tell, but if you look on the back of the picture here, there is the tail gun here, which had the harpoon, which gives the gimmick of shooting the tail cable out to wrap around the AT-AT's or the AT-AT's legs. It does look really good. And right over here, we have a blueprint picture of the Snowspeeder. Again, this is Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder. They may make another Snowspeeder, possibly, maybe be a chase version, but this is quote-unquote Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder. And I tell you right here, this is a Snowspeeder vehicle in the Starfighter class, which is more of the smaller vehicles. That's why it comes in a price point of about $12 to $15 US. And they showcase some other vehicles that are in this particular release of vehicles. We do have some chase vehicles here and over here, I believe. I'll make sure I'm correct on that. Yep, we have at least two chase vehicles. There's another X-Wing and another Jedi Starfighter, which I think is just a palette swap from Series 1. I believe it's the same type of Starfighter we saw for Series 1, but all in all, looks really good. Let's get it back on the turntable, spin them around 360 so you can see what it looks like. Looks really good. I like the Snowspeeder. It's not my favorite vehicle in Star Wars. It's up there. I do like the Snowspeeder. I would say it's probably my top 3 vehicles. I said it many times before, my favorite vehicle in Star Wars is the A-Wing fighter. Unfortunately, the A-Wing fighter for this release set is a chase vehicle. That kind of sits me wrong because it's hard to nail down those chases. I believe that's chase to, I want to say one of, it's either 5,000 or 15,000. I'm not sure of the range. I'll clarify in a text in the video. I'll put it on the screen right now. It's either 5,000 or 15. Again, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I will make a notation so you can see how rare a fighter really is. I've seen it on eBay going for about $80 to about $125. So it is quite pricey on the secondary market. Those are what I have my eyes on for to get that particular chase vehicle. Again, I love the A-Wing. I want that vehicle added to my collection. So that being said, guys, let's get the Snowspeeder off card here and continue the breakdown segment. Alright guys, let's dig into this Snowspeeder. We have it off the packaging and it looks really, really cool. A lot to take in from this little vehicle. It kind of threw me off guard. I thought this would be much bigger in packaging until I took it all off. It's very, very tiny in scope and scale. I have the camera zoomed in pretty tightly because it looks really big on camera, but it's very, very small. I'll give you guys some measurements momentarily. There are two figures that come with this vehicle here. First, we have our Luke Skywalker pilot. He's in the Empire Strikes Back jumpsuit. He has the red dots on his helmet. And we have Dak Raltar, which is literally the same figure. He just has blue dots on his helmet. So I'll get some up-close shots of both figures so you can see what they look like. As far as articulation goes, both figures, the only point of articulation, the arms go up, and he can do a little, he can sit him down to fit into the Snowspeeder. That's it for articulation. That's all you really get with these figures here. And I didn't expect a whole lot coming out of these two figures here. It is what it is. That's what you pay for both figures. And of course we have our Luke Skywalker, the pilot, and Dak Reltar, our gunner, in their respective positions in the Snowspeeder here. And I want to focus on them so you can see what they look like in the vehicle. They look really good in the craft. You have to, of course, bend the legs here to get them to fit inside the Snowspeeder. Of course, the canopy does hinge up and down, and when you snap it down, it does clip into place, and you can see there's a lot of headroom, so there's plenty of room for the characters to be inside this vehicle. I do like that. There is a kickstand right here, or landing gear. That's why it's in this position. It's kind of leaning a little bit further backwards and leaning the front up. That's why it looks like this orientation. Again, the camera is focusing pretty tight. Let me give you some measurements so you can see how big this vehicle really is. Again, it looks much bigger on camera because I have the camera zoomed in. But as far as the size here, from the wing to wing, it's about 375. From the back gun to the back of the vehicle itself, so I'll show you the measurement so you can see it here, it's about close to 4 inches, and we'll say 3 1/4 from this way here. So it's about close to the same size from both back wing to wing and gun to gun. Again, close to 4, and this is more of a 375, 3 inches 75, 3 inches and 3/4 is basically the measurement for the wing to wing measurement. And there's a lot to really take in with this particular little small vehicle. I like it. It looks really good. It's weathered. It looks like it's living in the universe of Star Wars. It doesn't look like it came off the assembly line. It looks like it's seen some battle, and I like that. You can see the weathered on the top of the vehicle right there near the canopy. There's weathering here. I think they did just enough weather work with this vehicle. You can see the panels, specifically right here on the wings. You can see the panel work. Would I do more weathering to this? Would I do some rub and buff to it? I don't really think it needs it. I think it's weathered enough, especially in the front here, that scoop. You can see the weathering right there in the front. I like that. I wish I would have put some maybe weathering on the guns. That would have looked really cool. Let's focus right now on sort of the gimmicks or some of the action features with the vehicle itself. As I mentioned at the beginning of the vehicle, there's a little block right here. This little block here controls the airfoils. So you can see this wing pop up here, and I go this way, this wing pops up here. So you can even tilt it. So you can see, like, you tilt it this way, this wing pops up, and that wing pops up. So that's the gimmick when they would bank and turn in Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. These little air brakes would pop up. And I like that. I think that's very, very neat to have that little gimmick here. Again, left and right. I'll get some up-close shots so you can see what it looks like, because it's not really doing justice unless I get really close to it. But the brakes are popping up. Maybe that'd be a better way there. Yeah, it looks a lot better. So if I go from the right side, you can see the brake here. Left side, that brake pops up over here, which is this brake right here. So I like that. Left brake and right brake. So it looks really neat. The tail gun is movable. Let me swing over to the tail gun from the back of the vehicle. Again, the cool engine block. I like that. I wish it would have maybe some more silver back here to make it look like it's hot, because that's sort of like a big heat sink engine for the Snowspeeder. The gun here is movable. I do like that. That's pretty cool. And the last action feature to talk about is the tow cable. It's kind of plugged into the back of the engine block. It would normally shoot out of the harpoon to wrap around the AT or the AT-AT's legs. So let me showcase what it looks like. It has this little piece here that would kind of, you would slot into the back of the engine block. But what you do is you just pull it out here to get the little tow cable out. So I think that's really cool. The length of the cable itself is basically the length of the entire Snowspeeder. It's literally about, from end to end, about 4 inches, this wire, this cable. And I do like they gave us this neat little action feature here. To get it back into the vehicle, there's a little button here. You just simply wind this little nub here, this little switch, to roll it back into the Snowspeeder, back into its position, and you're right back to where you were. So if you're playing with this around with little kids, you just wind it back into position to be fired again. That's the gimmick. So all in all, I think that's a very cool little action feature for the Snowspeeder. Let's get them on a turntable, spin them around 360 so you can see what it looks like here. I really like what they did here with the Star Wars Micro Galaxies with this Snowspeeder. I like the attention to detail, the decal, the weathering looks really good. We get two little neat little Micro Galaxy figures here of both the pilot Luke Skywalker and Dak Reltar. Again, price point for this was about $15 US. Would I recommend purchasing this? I think so. I like this vehicle. Again, the size caught me off guard. I was a little bit surprised by the small scale of the vehicle. Again, we're only looking about 4 inches by 3 3/4 inches, so it's a very small vehicle, all things considered. But for $15 price point, which is again what I paid for it on my local Target, I think it's worth the money in my personal opinion. So I do hope you like this video review of the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Snowspeeder, which is Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder, which of course has Luke and Dak Reltar. We have, of course, again, the neat little air fins here, the airfoils, the air brake system, and the neat little tail gun. So I do hope you like this video review and breakdown of the Snowspeeder. Click that like button on the bottom of the page. Click that all-important subscribe button. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to notify my latest videos. And of course, last but not least, you click Windows over here and here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. See you next video, and bye-bye.